Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Take 3 podcast. I'm excited to be here. I know the others are excited to be here. But before we go anywhere, let's introduce everybody. Matthew Kearns, how are you doing today?
Apparently, I don't work hard enough. I learned from last week's show, but I'm doing well besides that.
Work harder!
Work hard, play hard. And to the guy who said that Kearns didn't work hard enough, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I love when my employees throw me under the bus. It's a lot of fun.
Employees.
I didn't just throw you under the bus. I threw you under the bus and backed up and front and backed. And,
Well, okay.
Gotta make sure the job is done.
Aside from that, I'm doing very well. It's gonna be an interesting week. It's gonna be an interesting night because we got some fun stuff here planned. So can't wait.
All right. Well, Kees, you have one bit of news for us, so introduce yourself, and then we'll talk about our one bit of news.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, this is the right kind of clothing that I need to be wearing right now, right?
Yes.
It is.
Exactly. Because, I just wasn't too sure. I'm sorry. Yeah, look, there's this thing, Star Trek. It's so odd to me. Nah, just kidding. Yeah, there's one bit of news, and it once again is a sad news story. So start off a little bit sad. Roger Moore passed away, and it sucks because he was the longest running Bond. Actually, he was in 7 of the Bond movies, while Connery was in 6, I believe.
6.
Yeah.
So one more than Connery, and it's pretty clear I'm not a fan of his Bond movies, most of them at least, but he did make Live and Let Die and The Spy Who Loved Me, which are 2 really good, fun movies. The Spy Who Loved Me actually is top 5 Bond movies, so at least he made some good stuff there. Other than that, I don't really know any of his other movies, but it's still sad that he passed away. And yeah, Matt and Chris, you guys are also Bond, big Bond fans, so give your thoughts.
Go ahead first, Kearns.
I when I found out about this morning, I did a post on my Facebook page where I was like, there's no secret, I'm not the biggest fan of most of his Bond films, minus Live and Let Die and Spy Who Loved Me, but regardless of what you ever have to say, the guy was Bond. And he was a Bond that I watched when I was a kid. And there's something about being... It's kind of like... Say what you will about George Clooney, but he was Batman. There's something when you play a character that is more than an actor. It sucks that anyone passes away. I read the message that his kids posted on his Twitter this morning, which was really beautiful. To the Moore family, I just hope you guys are able to get past this, because it just sucks, because he was fighting cancer, so it sucks to lose someone like this. And the one thing I could say is, for Roger Moore, the fact that he's never going to be forgotten, because he played the most times one of the most iconic film characters ever. So
yeah, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Roger Moore era, even though I love Live and Let Die. I thoroughly enjoyed Man with the Golden Gun. Just don't ask me when it came out. And even some of the goofier stuff, like Moonraker or View to a Kill, they were still Bond films. And the way that Roger Moore was able to give Bond the sort of suave gravitas that Ian Fleming did put in the character in the novels, it's hard to dismiss that. And even though he's not my Bond, he's still a Bond, and it's sad to see that he's the first one to go.
yeah.
That's true. Evan, have you seen any of his Bond movies?
No, I haven't, but when we all talked about it, we all agreed it was important to talk about it on the show today. So, on a more high note, I guess, on a more rageful note, we're about to have probably one of the most heated debates against 3 of the most stubborn people I know. Oh, box office, I forgot.
Oh,
Box
by
office
the
first.
way, I totally won that one last week.
Yeah, because freaking everything overperformed.
Doing your
He's-
No.
job for you.
Look, and this is the reason why I look at Box Office Mojo, because sometimes they actually predict it right. And then
But this isn't
and then it came
pre-recorded at
down,
all.
and then it came down between Chris and myself, because we both had the same top fives, but of course Chris was way too high in Covenant. I thought that I was high with my 42 million, and then he says 59, and I'm like, yeah,
How much did
okay,
it end up making?
I'll say 36 though.
36.
But Case, this isn't pre-recorded at all, so you're not like you can look at Box Office Mojo all you want, so you can find the answers to this week's box office, right?
Exactly, yes, and because of that, I totally calling that.
I mean, yeah,
Predator-
I'm looking at the live chat right now. You know, they're saying
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
All right, so Case, let's throw it at you. What's your box office this week? Because it's so correct.
Well, let's see if it's correct this week. At 5, I have Evan's favorite film of last week, and Everything. At 4, I have Alien Covenant. Actually, that's going to drop quite some. At number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. At number 2, Baywatch. Yeah, I mean, I think The Rock has star power, so that will come in number 2, barely over Guardians Volume 2 in its 4th week, by the way. And at number 1, yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar's Revenge, or Dead Man Tell No Tales, however you want to call it. It's going to win the weekend pretty easily, and I'm predicting quite big, actually, 80 million for it.
Oh my God. Okay, this is funny. I have the same exact list as Case. He said 80 million. I legit Price is Right him at 79. No joke. I had 79 written down before.
Okay, so
Predictions.
real quick, since I have the same list as Case, but I am actually way lower on Pirates.
Whoa.
I'm saying 65.
So
Okay.
all three of us have the same list.
Kearns, are we going 4 for 4?
Nope.
Good.
Okay.
Because
We're
that's
gonna lose.
stuck at box office. Shut up, Evan. I had to do your job and remind you we were even doing box office tonight.
It happens.
Okay. So, for the person who's gonna lose, so I don't even care at this point. Number 5, I've Snatched. I don't know. I think people are still going to see this movie. It's one of the only comedies kind of out.
Well, the
mean,
thing is, Baywatch is coming out.
But Amy Schumer has her fans. Trainwreck got her kind of recognition, so people may still be going to see it.
Maybe.
At number 4, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, just because I feel like anyone who really, really wanted to see this movie has already seen it. Whereas at number 3, I have Alien Covenant. Not everyone has seen it yet, so I feel like it might still get those I wait until all the reviews are out to go and see a movie. At number 2, I have Baywatch. I think The Rock has star power. I think it doesn't hurt to have Alexandra Daddario in a one piece, you know,
and Zac Efron.
and Zac Efron. You know, I mean, Neighbors. I did not like Neighbors 2, but he was the funniest part of Neighbors 2. And then at number 1, I got Pirates. To be honest, did not like the third film, really didn't like the fourth film, but the marketing for this movie has gotten me really interested, so I'm looking forward to it. And I had it at
You don't need to give you a number. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought we just had to do that in general.
No,
my
well,
God.
we only have to do it if we have the same list. So.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. That's
Well,
fine.
with that out of the way, finally I can just transition to the coolest transition in the world. We have 3 of the most stubborn people in the world arguing about what is the best Star Trek movie of all time.
And we have the
Wrath of
most stubborn
Khan.
person hosting it.
Ah,
Without Wrath of Khan included. So we have Matthew Kearns here in the ring, avid prequel fan. I know nothing about Star Trek, but that's how I'm gonna open him out. We have Case,
help, Evan.
the only guy not from America, who is in this fight, and then we have Chris, who he talked about Star Trek films, but I know nothing about them. Let's start this debate. All right, we're gonna open up with Kearns. Actually, you have 1 minute on the clock to talk about why you think Star Trek your Star Trek film is good. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I chose Star Trek First Contact. Here's the thing. This movie is the best Star Trek movie next to Wrath of Khan because of the story. The story of Picard dealing with the aftermath of being taken over by the Borg is a really compelling story for the viewer to follow. You see it right off at the beginning of the film. I think that's the thing that this hits perfectly, is there is a story arc to this film of someone trying to come over a traumatic experience. This is something that a lot of people can relate to. There's also great action in the film. There's a lot of great comedy. There's a great soundtrack. But I think that relatability to Picard, because even though we all haven't been taken over by the Borg, we know what it's like to go for a traumatic experience, to just have it eating at you, and to see his arc with that come to an end. It's just really beautiful, and it's very symbolic.
And 5.
Four, yeah, it's a great film. I'll
3,
get more into it later. But
2.
Yeah, First Contact.
1. Okay. Matthew Kearns has made his first claim for Star Trek First Contact. Let's move on over to Chris Stoneman. And go.
Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country is not only the best Star Trek film minus Wrath of Khan, it's also the best Star Trek sequel minus Wrath of Khan. Why? Because you take the same writer and director, you give him a new story with some new topics to tackle, but also revisiting some old themes that he had previously explored. Like, for example, Kirk and his struggle with his enemy, his hated enemies that he has been at war with for years and years of his life, and how when that time has to come to an end and a peacetime is actually on the line, he is fearful for it because he doesn't know how he will cope with that. That relates to a lot of people, especially around the time that this film came out in 1991. Because what was happening at the exact same time?
And 5.
Russia
4.
was coming down.
3. 2.
And I'll go more into it later.
1. Whoa! He dropped a Russia bomb on the other two competitors. Let's move on over to Kees and his film in 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, obviously, I went with Star Trek 09 because it simply is my favorite Star Trek movie. It introduced me to Star Trek, like a lot of other people back in 09, when Star Trek had been dead for years. Like Undiscovered Country and First Contact both are good movies, but they're both sequels. Star Trek 09 had to set it up all new, had to reset the timeline, made the Kelvin timeline work, and actually make it believable that these new characters, these completely new cast, is a fun new cast of characters that we can follow, that we can care for, and that is the new crew of the Enterprise. And the film has great action. It has great character moments. It's fast-paced. It's just the most accessible out of all the movies that we're discussing. And if
5,
you would
4,
show one Star Trek
3,
movie, start
2,
with 09 and then
1.
continue with the rest.
Done. Stop talking. Okay. So we have 2 front runners right now. One person I think needs to explain a little bit more on the impact of society and what it actually means for a Star Trek movie and why it's a good movie per se. And that'd be a little bit more towards Kearns. Kees and Chris definitely I feel like have the lead in my opinion. That because I'm the only judge here, and I know nothing about Star Trek, guys. That's my disclaimer. I know jack smack about Star Trek, but maybe Kearns can pick it back up in the arguments here. Starting with Chris Stoneman. Here we go. You have 2 minutes on the clock to tear down what they all said and build yourself up in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, let me start off with, unfortunately, Kees, I'm going to knock you down right now. Star Trek 09 is a fantastic film, but it has one of the weakest villains in the saga. We give no craps about Nero. We have no understanding of why he is doing what he is doing. We have absolutely no... He presents very little of a threat. Outside, you take away the red matter from him, he is not a threat. All he is a simple miner. Whereas in Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, we have General Chang, a character who is so methodical, so conniving, that he single-handedly almost took down this peace treaty between the United Federation of Planets and the Klingons, which would have seemed impossible. But this guy is so smart that he was able to carefully craft the ultimate frame plan to make the Enterprise look like they were the ones who actually stopped it, and he would get out scot-free as just this loyal patriot. Another thing, Speaking of characters, let's actually talk about Bones and how he actually is. Let's go with all the characters. What is the one thing that they're all realizing in this film? Their age. They're all coming to grips with the fact that they're about to hit retirement. Some of them are possibly maybe getting a little too old just to even go on this current adventure. And that is something that we had honestly were only getting glimpses of in the previous films. Now we're actually coming to struggle with it. The other thing, too.
30 seconds left.
The way that this film tackles racism and the way that it actually presents it in a totally fair and balanced way, and that it actually comes out from all sides. Because it's not just, the Klingons are evil. No. They're warriors who don't know how to live in peacetime. Same thing with characters like Kirk and Bones, and even Spock to a degree. They don't know how to live in a new era. Which is why this is most fascinating of the Star Trek films.
Whoa! Chris Doman bringing the racism card into it, making everything elevated to another level. Now I'm going to have to pop it on over to Matthew Kearns and see if he can build himself up after that first week round. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, Kees, I liked your movie more when it was called Star Wars A New Hope. I just got to say that. Very similar story, and like Chris already said, weak villain. I have the Borg Queen, one of the best Star Trek villains ever, one of the most methodical villains ever. Chris, Star Trek Undiscovered Country is a great Star Trek film. The problem is you need the other films for that to work. That aging stuff, if that is your first Star Trek movie, it doesn't work. Oh, there are a bunch of old people complaining that they're old. If you haven't gone on any of the adventures, that ending, the second star to right, straight on to morning, does not work if you don't have the Star Trek films. My movie is accessible to anyone if you've seen the films or not, because Picard explains, he has conversations about what happened to him when the Borg took him over, so even if you never saw Best of Both Worlds, you didn't have to, because he explains exactly what happened in it. There is great action in this movie. Everyone loves action films, and like I said, Picard's story, this is a story that people go through every day. This is like a soldier going through PTSD after a war, or someone losing a close family member. This traumatic stress in dealing with it. And it's great to see Picard overcome that by beating the Borg Queen. And it is one of the funnier Star Trek movies. All the stuff with James Cromwell on space. And there is an actual threat throughout the course of this movie that first contact is not going to happen, and that Starfleet is not going to happen. The Borg are going to take over. And this is one of the most to a non-Star Trek fan, you can watch the movie and understand what is happening. So it's one of the most accessible Star Trek films, and that's why I think it is the best.
Whoa! Matthew Kearns with 15 seconds left, feeling that confident as he should. Definitely did a lot better this second round than his first. Very impressive. Case, they destroyed you a lot in their arguments. Let's see how you can rebuild back up. Starting now.
Wouldn't say they destroyed me. Look, here's the thing. Is Nero a little bit of a weak villain? Yes. All movies have their issues, and Chris already said the issues of my movie. But look, the thing is, Nero does have an explanation to his character. It gets explained in the movie. Like, his world is about to be destroyed, and the Vulcans did not choose to help, and he blames Spock for that. Okay, at least you have the explanation. Now, is it expository dialogue for the sake of it? Yes. But the movie needed to focus on characters. Now, the issue with both of you guys' movies, they're sequels. They're not the first in the series. To fully get First Contact, you have to watch the series. You have to watch the show. You already said they explain it, but to fully apprehend the moment and fully apprehend everything that is happening, you need to watch the show, and you need to watch Generations as well. Same thing with Chris, as Matt already said. Like, you need to watch the other movies to fully get the sixth movie. If you haven't seen the previous movie, you may be able to understand a little bit of it, but not the full point. And with Star Trek 09, they started completely over. There are no previous movies that you need to appreciate to fully appreciate 09. You can just start there, and from then on you can do anything else. So, as I said, start with 09 and then continue with the rest. Now, look, I will just say, Kirk is
30 seconds.
Kirk in the original Star Trek movies is played by Shatner. Shatner always overacts. He doesn't do anything else. He doesn't change that in Undiscovered Country. He still overacts. And Pine is a great new Kirk. He gives a new take on it, and like for sure, Kirk in the new Star Trek is better than in the old, at least in my opinion. And
5,
like
4,
a lot of people can
3,
agree with me
2,
on that.
1, done. Whoa, Kees Cornelisa. Really retaliating there. Trying to prove his point. Prove why he's right and why other people are wrong. I appreciate it. I'm sure the others do, too. Alright, so here's how we're going to function this. Each of you are now going to have another 2 minutes to destroy everybody, and then we'll give it down to 1 minute to close out the argument, because there's so much to argue here, and so much time. So
I'd say we only need 1 more minute apiece.
Yeah, just give it one last minute. That's all.
alright, who hasn't gone first yet? I think Chris hasn't gone first yet,
Kees
right?
No,
hasn't gone first yet.
Case hasn't gone first.
I just got off.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I can't
mean,
have
it's
Kees go
just
first.
Okay.
I get
Yeah,
that.
I'll go second. Chris hasn't gone first.
I
Let Chris
went
go
first last time. Kearns.
No, you went. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if Matthew Kearns goes first, I'll make sure I'll mark that. Yeah. Well, you have 1 minute on the clock. This is your make it or break it moment. 3, 2, 1, go.
We are not arguing what is the best Star Trek movie to show someone who has never seen Star Trek. We are arguing the best Star Trek movie, which means we could take into account someone watching this has seen the other stuff, if you want to fight that. But even if we're not, 09 is not really a Star Trek movie. It's kind of just generic sci-fi action movie. Whereas First Contact is, at its purest, a Star Trek movie. It has the great science fiction-y, let's talk about,
30
how
seconds.
a ship works. And also, you couldn't take down the fact that my movie has Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard, and it has one of the greatest Star Trek scenes. The line must be drawn here. And that is the perfect cap point of this character who's dealing with a problem, something we all go through in our lives. And that is why you can connect with Picard in this movie. And it is fantastic at the end of this movie when they defeat the Borg and when he snaps her
5,
spine and
4,
you see it
3,
come to an end. Just
2,
an amazing
1.
rock.
Stop.
Okay.
Well, Matthew Kearns destroying that final round. He did slip up just a little bit, but he had a very solid round ending into the final here. We now move on to the man from the Netherlands, Kees Cornelissen. Give me your closing statement in 5, 4, 3, 2. However you say go in Dutch.
All right, so here's the thing. You can say that '09 is a generic action movie. It's not. I know for a fact that it pleased new audiences, but it also pleased Star Trek fans. There are a lot of nuggets in there that appeal to the classic Star Trek fans, like because it still is a retelling in a way, like a reimagining of the original 1966 created Star Trek with Kirk, Spock, Bones, whatnot, and they nailed the characters as they were back then. They didn't change the characters too much. Fans of Star Trek love the movie, and new fans. So it's not just a sci-fi action movie that is for the new people who have never seen Star Trek. It also is something for the older fans. Like there are a lot of
10
nuggets.
seconds.
J.J. Abrams really did as much as he possibly could to
5,
appeal to both old
4,
and new, and I think
3,
that is why it's the best.
1. Wow, I'd like to apologize to Kees right there for not letting him know about 30 seconds. But it happens. He got 10 seconds out. Really, really good, solid argument. More so directing it at Kearns than Chris, but all the same, very solid. Now here's
Well,
the thing.
that's because in his last argument, that's where he really tried to come after me.
Yeah, I was
Fair
going to
enough.
say.
Fair enough.
Now, if Chris can really blow me away, for all we know, he could have the win here. So Chris, in 5, 4, 3, 2, go in the way how Minnesotans say it.
Oh, go, don't you know? So, you guys are all forgetting one big element in each of your arguments. Star Trek, first and foremost, is a science fiction franchise. The only what makes Undiscovered Country the best of these films in terms of the way that they defeat their villain. Let's take a look at Kearns. the way that Picard takes out the Borg Queen basically is by convincing Data, hey, you don't have to actually be human. You
30
already
seconds
are
remaining.
your own person. The way to take out Nero, they just use his weapon against him. That's it. Then, but here's the thing: they actually have to use They actually have to use science. They actually have to use this really crafty way to pick up the emissions from their engines in General Chang's ship to be able to find his ship and torpedo the living hell out of it. We don't really see that anymore in Star Trek, period, because it's all more about the action, not so much about the science.
2, 1. Holy crap. Okay, this decision just got a lot tougher. Chris didn't blow me away, so it's like he could have won, he couldn't have won. Kees did a good job defending his movie, but Kearns and Chris roasted the crap out of his. And Kearns was just there, but his argument was a bit weaker than the others in general. Oh god, this is tough. All right, Chris, let's make things interesting. Between Kees and Matthew, who do you think deserved to win?
Ouch. For variety of argument's sake, I'm actually going to say Kees. Kearns, you spent a little too much time on Picard's story.
All right, Kees. With who do you think should have won between Chris and Matt?
Well, unlike you, I actually thought that Chris brought up a great point at the end with being it science fiction and actually using science. So I would say give it to Chris.
All right, Matt. Between Chris or Kees, you think him out stronger?
Difficult because Chris, I think I did like the science argument, but you didn't. For me, I wasn't hearing enough of like the story and why the characters are as strong as you could have. But Kees did a good job fighting what we were saying, but he didn't do a great job taking down both of ours. I think Chris did a little better job explaining why his is a great Star Trek movie.
All right. Well, I had my mind made up at the beginning, at the end of the final argument. It came clear they destroyed Kees's argument too much. So I'm sorry, Kees, you did not win. They went after you like dogs. I have a dog right there, so no pun intended. And then we had Chris and Kearns, and for me, it just came down to strength of argument between you two. And that's where Kearns lacked a little bit. Hence, why I have to give Chris Stoneman the win. Grudgingly so.
That was a great debate.
That was a great debate.
Yeah, that was a great debate.
And to be fair,
to be fair, guys, I don't know crap about Star Trek.
And that's fine. And to be honest, that's why I'm glad you did this. That's why I'm glad you judged this. Because you'd be looking at the most objectively, which we may never talk about sometime soon.
Whoa!
But to be fair, I love all of these films. I do. I seriously love all three of these films.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, same here.
You know.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
True.
With that out of the way,
and there's a reason I'm the fan movie fights champion.
Woo! Okay. Well, with that out of the way, I want to do a new thing in this show. This is unplanned, but I'm gonna keep track of the records of our debates. Matthew Kearns at the moment is 1-1. Kees at the moment now is 1-1. Chris is 1-0, while I am 1-1.
Wait a second. What am I 1-1 at?
The debates.
Which
you and I lost.
Wait,
we lose.
But
we
I
lose
didn't
together.
win this debate.
Oh, you're 0-2. Sorry, sir.
Yeah,
that means Kees is 1-2, and then Chris is 1-0. Crap.
I'm 1-1.
Who? When'd you lose?
Carrie Fisher. Yeah.
You
know what? Let's cut this out, and how about you don't keep track because you can't keep track of the records.
Hey, chill out.
I'm
trying to have some fun. Jeez. Okay. Well,
everyone's all serious. We're just fighting and arguing and
Talking about fun is something that stresses all of us out. Brett Sheridan.
Yeah, let's talk about how we've almost broken up like 5 times in the last week.
Okay, Brett Sheridan is officially, we have a match for him. We know when we're going to record it. We know when it's going up. Brett Sheridan versus Zach Mitchell. I think we do, Case. Kearns, what do you have to say about this?
I'm very excited. Even though Brett's kind of the reason why I didn't get much sleep last Wednesday, because from the minute Brett said T3 Productions and the whole thing until like 3 in the morning, I was just dealing with all that. But now I'm rested. I'm really excited that Brett's here. I'm looking forward to his match with Zach. I'm looking forward to just how he's going to do in the league. And, it's just awesome that he's a part of us.
What about you, Case Cornelis? How are you feeling about this match? And you're hosting it, to be fair.
I still can't believe it's happening, but it's really cool. Questions are written. I tested them with these guys. I'm hosting. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look out for it.
All right, Chris. You're the man who runs this ship. What do you have to say?
I cannot wait because, to give what at the After Schmo boys have dubbed the Schmo Stopper, Brett Sheridan. And
I like that.
I'll stick with it. I like it enough.
Is it Mr. Wiggly or is it the Schmo Stopper?
It's the Schmo Stopper.
I prefer Mr. Wiggly.
Mr. Wiggly, man.
I do too, but listen, when Christian offers you a suggestion, you take it and you just,
Oh, is that what he told you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The Schmo Stopper. Whatever. Hey, man.
So, it is what it is, and it's kind of funny because the minute I saw that post, I had to make sure I was reading that right. Because I'm like, no. There is no way we have actually been legitimized. There is no way we have actually been somewhat validated. There is no way we are actually on, officially on the radar of Schmoes Know.
Oh, we are.
Well, I was dead wrong.
Yeah.
And I am going to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes here, because obviously responding to this and how we did it was single-handedly the toughest thing we have ever done.
Oh my god.
Oh
god.
There was almost some crying going on from multiple people. It wasn't just any one person. Because everyone had their own idea of how we'd go about this, but
actually, I did not have any ideas. It was just you guys duking it out.
Pretty much, and like anybody who does anything creative,
mother effer, do you speak it?
Right? When a chance for success actually came along, and we just didn't know how to respond to it correctly at that exact moment. But with a little bit of time and a little bit of patience, we all took a second and we stepped back and we were like, okay, this is how we should do it, and this is the way that we decided we were going to do it. Because look, yes, guys, I'm sorry, we are giving Brett a little bit of special treatment, but when he brings literally in 1 week 60 subscribers, I'm sorry. I don't see any of you fuckers doing that, so guess what? I'm sorry, we're gonna give him a little bit of special treatment. We're gonna give him a match right the fuck away. So,
yep.
Pardon my rant voice, but the thing is,
we're hosting a tournament. We're planning that at the same time that Brett decides to announce he's coming on. If he brings 60 subscribers to us right before we start the tournament, and at this point we already announced we are not doing any newbies matches until after the tournament. Yeah, we can sneak one match in for Brett when he gives that to us. So
yeah, because so this is going to be the schedule for between now and the start of the first wild card match. So we have Aaron Canole versus Malcolm Lay.
That wasn't spoiled at all.
Look forward to that match. It's going to be a fun time. Then we have Brett versus Zach. Then we have the Schmoville doubleheader, finally. And then we have our title match, which is the doubleheader of Subrath versus Lucas for a wild card match, and of course Jacob versus Jono 2.
Go, Jacob!
Woo! Go, Jacob!
You're my boy, Blue! You're my boy!
Okay.
So, yeah, just this has been a hectic time, but it's
Oh
the
yeah,
best kind of
and after that, the planning for the tournament starts. We will have to get 4 wildcard matches out of the way, all within the time span of like 3 weeks, and then the tournament starts. So yeah.
It's funny.
We're still finalizing the ranking. Kees and Kearns are both in our top 5. Unfortunately,
That blows my mind every day.
That does.
Shut up, Evan.
Well, no. And I say that exact statement, and I mean it in the best possible way. Because Kees,
I'm kidding.
I'm kind of surprised you actually got bumped down, but you have to
Oh
understand.
no!
Well, the thing is, I got bumped down because I don't have any KOs.
And
I do have a points record, but that doesn't mean anything at this point, apparently. So, yeah, okay.
You also have a loss against you.
Yeah, that's true.
Versus Mike Henley, who is lower ranked.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, Kearns. Come on, your first one was controversial. Don't speak down to Kees like that.
Oh,
I'm saying if you didn't interrupt me, Evan, I was about to say, Kees, if it makes you feel better, I think you're better at movie trivia than I am.
Hey, man, for all I know, Kees.
Do you see the infighting we've been doing, guys? Isn't this lovely?
Yes.
Hey, but you know what? The simple fact is, I'm in a tournament. I have the number 5 seed. I'll have to win the first match and maybe some other matches. We'll see how that goes. I'm just happy I'm in the tournament. That was my goal. I'm there, so that's going to be fun.
But someone who is salty about their ranking, Chris Doman, how are you?
Who really shouldn't be, to be honest.
No, he shouldn't be. But he is.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to keep drinking my Irish tea, and you all can go fuck yourselves.
I said nothing. I was silent.
But somebody who isn't in the tournament myself,
yeah, how did that happen again?
Shocker.
Hey.
In other news, water wet.
All right, and so I'll be editing and I'll be hosting a few matches here and there. I'm excited to do that as I'm the only one not in the tournament, so I'm super excited. I know you guys are. Well, that's gonna end our show for today. Chris Doman, the guy who's salty about his ranking. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at my band Last Shot Redemption at LSARBandMN, and you can follow us Take 3 Productions on Twitter at FanSchmodown.
All right, Kees, where can people find you?
You can find me watching and reviewing a crap ton of movies on my YouTube channel this weekend. The Dutch Movie Guy on YouTube. I'm finally back because I finally have my Unlimited card back. So check out my reviews for like Alien Covenant and Baywatch and Pirates and whatnot. Everything playing right now in theaters. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Dutch Movie Guy, where I also tweet out my reviews and tweet out other stuff occasionally. And you can find me hosting Between the Zones last Monday, of course, and next Monday, of course, every Monday. Or movie news show where we just talk about movie news all the time, which is fun. So yeah, and otherwise on other Take 3 stuff and in the tournament very soon.
All right, Kearns, where can the good kids find you?
You can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, on YouTube, MattMovies611, and right here every other weekend hosting the movie fandom show. But I gotta say, guys, I had a friend who during the Star Trek debate was thankfully very quiet and he just wanted to come in the show with us. Hi guys, this is Scott Nance. I just wanted to say that no one talked about the motion picture. I remember in 1979 waiting online for that movie. It was fantastic. Okay, Scott, you can leave. Okay, so yeah, thanks guys. Live long and may the force prosper. That's all I gotta say.
All right, guys. You guys can find me at EDEGRAFF11 at Twitter, where I tweet about stuff and other stuff. I tweet at people that do Twitter stuff. I think that's how Twitter is.
So YouTube stuff?
And that will do it for tonight's shorter show. You guys may or may not be able to guess why you can see 4 of us at once. And yeah, I'll do the famous Chris Doman. Take care!